Hello and welcome to episode 55 of Nolo Time. My name is Obed Velez, and with me is the most interesting man in the world, Joel Young.
Why, thank you, Mr. Obeto. It's good to be with you.
Dude, it feels like a month.
It's crazy.
It's only 2 weeks. I know. Once you get to a rhythm, man, and you just don't do it for a week, it's like riding a bike again, kind of, sort of.
Yeah, it's like getting back in the rhythm. I tell you what, last Thursday, I'm not gonna lie. Like I was sitting down, I'm like, man, I missed doing podcasts today. I mean, I was having a great time and enjoying myself, and I'm sure you were too. But
you were getting the itch. You were getting you're like, I need a podcast.
Yeah, I was getting excited.
Yeah,
getting all sweaty.
Yeah, just like we get here in Nolo Time, man.
That's right.
We're big nerds. You know how that tends to be. No, we're clean nerds, though.
We are.
Don't confuse us. Yeah,
we are.
Don't confuse us. We bathe before doing anything.
Yes, I bathed before this podcast. And honestly, we're not the nerds with the neck beards and cargo shorts. We're the guys that keep ourselves clean.
Yeah, we're not like the Smash players and FGC. Take that one. Yeah. Guys, take a shower. But Joe, what's up, man? I know that a pretty big movie came out. Anything else that happened, Joe? Go ahead, man. What's up?
Yeah, dude. So I've seen Ant-Man and the Wasp twice now, and that was one of those movies that, to me, even before, depending like on even how the movie performed or how I felt about it after seeing it, I always felt, and I think I said this on the podcast before, that the timing of the release of it was really weird. I thought that it should have been reversed, where we had Ant-Man and the Wasp come out in May, and then now we have, in July, having the Infinity Wars. But they decided to go the direction that they went, and they definitely address in Ant-Man and the Wasp what happened with Infinity War and why they weren't there and what's going on. And it's also a very direct, correlation to the effects of Civil War. I always love how Civil War was one of those events that is so massive, just like Infinity War, that it did affect, every superhero ever, like after that movie. So I appreciate that. I mean, you watch Spider-Man Homecoming, you watch any of these other, Black Panther, there's always been a large effect that affect each of their stories. And I like that it's done so well. So that cohesiveness is nice. The movie's a lot of fun. It's very lighthearted, just like the first one. I think that it's actually probably one of the best sequels that Marvel's done. And that's just because, like generally speaking, a lot of times a sequel tries to repeat the success of the first film. This movie is very different, but it adds to it, and it hits the points that were enjoyable about the first movie. Characters like Luis and, some of the stuff with Michael Douglas and, Evangeline Lilly's characters, Hank and Hope Pym. So they really, take their stuff that you like and then just take it to the next level in a positive way, not overkill. But the movie's really good. It's a lot of fun. It's not a crazy nerd kind of movie. There's not really a villain for the movie, and honestly, it's not very defined in that way. It's more of a specific type of, thing that they're trying to sell to accomplish without spoiling the movie. But I would recommend seeing it. I give it probably a 7.5 out of 10. It's a good movie. I think it's really good. I'm gonna give it time to digest how I feel about it, because when you walk out of the movie, you're like, oh my gosh, this is hilarious. This is so fun, and I really liked it. But it's a solid Marvel movie, which is what we come to expect at this point. It's gonna take a while, I think, for Marvel to have a stinker, because they've just been so solid.
Yeah, I think they really went back and evaluated after the Dark World, Thor Dark World, because I think that's probably the weakest of the MCU movies. And even, I mean, calling it the weakest is not saying that it's bad, because it's not. I actually like that movie quite a bit. Yeah. But I'm glad to hear that Ant-Man's good. Again, one of those things that whenever I get a chance or whenever it comes out, I'll go see it. I still haven't seen Solo.
The Star Wars guy.
I keep forgetting that movie even came out, man. But I'm glad to hear that Ant-Man's it's good. I really, really enjoyed the first one. The first one was really surprising. It's one of those things that it came out and I bought it, right? And I came home and my wife was like, Ant-Man, what the heck is this thing? It's like, oh, it's Marvel. It's like, oh, let's watch it. And we both enjoyed it a lot. So I'm glad to hear that it's good.
You'll like this more than the first one. I can tell you that right now.
Okay,
It's
good.
that good. Yeah.
Cool, awesome. Nice, man. Yeah, not much on my part, man. I've been hitting that Kingdom Hearts with that collection, just wrapping up things that I never played before, trying to get up to date before Kingdom Hearts 3 come out. So that's the only thing of note that I played. I did finish that Batman Telltale game.
Oh, nice.
Actually ended very strong. That game's really good, man. Highly recommend it. So even if you're not, used to the sort of adventure game, just the storytelling, it's really solid. And if you can look through the technical issues that game has, you will enjoy it. I mean, it's glitchy as hell, but it's really enjoyable because it really does tell a really good story. I like the take on Batman and like the take on the Wayne family itself. So that was pretty good. But Joel, the one thing of note that I did do over our break was get my hands on one of these.
Awesome.
So I was able to grab a Super NES Mini that Friday that they came back in stock. So there was announced that the NES was going to be back in stock on that day, but then I just out of curiosity I go and check on Best Buy. It's like, hey, do they have the SNES Minis 2 in stock? And they did. So before the local Best Buy, I was at work, so I was not even at my local Best Buy. So I was in one of our office locations. So I checked the closest Best Buy I bought it, set it to pick up in store. I went on my lunch break. When I got there, they only had like 3 left. They had a bunch of the NES ones, which I think it's sold out everywhere again. It's insane, dude, how crazy these things are. But I was able to grab it. Man, it's really fun. It's worth it. Again, main issue that I have with this consoles is the length of the controller cable. This is like 5 feet. So the following day, I had to run back to Best Buy, to my local Best Buy, and get the extension cords. My local Best Buy had them. I think it was the only one in the area that actually had the extension cords for the controllers. So I was able to grab that. It looks really nice, even on a 4K TV, and the thing runs at 720p, so it doesn't run full HD. But even then, the TV does a really good job at converting the signal, and it looks really, really nice. But Joel, the thing is that as a tech guy, I couldn't resist. And a day later, the thing had like 40 more games in it. So I hacked it. It was really easy, and I've had all the US release ROMs for Super NES on hand for 15 years maybe. So I've had them for a very long time. So I just picked, I didn't go crazy, right? I just picked what I think it's good and worth playing, and added it. The only other 2 things that I did to it is I removed, Nintendo put a feature for epilepsy, like some bright screens that you would see on the Super NES when flashing lights and all that stuff. They toned some of those scenes down in some games. So but I don't like it. It's like it looked bad. It looked weird. It was like, wait, this is not how it looked back in the Super NES. So I disabled that. There's a feature there's an option on the hack that you can actually disable that feature. So that's the only thing I did to it, and it just added, of course, Turtles in Time. It had to be there. The other 2 Mega Man X games, X2 and X3, and I added a few, Aladdin, Mickey Mania, the things that I know that are good. So, but yeah, man, it's a lot of fun. It's like, it looks great. And I added the collection, the Mario collection. God, what's the name of it? So, it's Mario All Stars or Super Mario All Stars? Yeah. So that has 1, 2, and 3. It's it's like one of the first remasters out there, right? Because it's 1, 2, and 3 updated to Super Nintendo graphics and sound. So really enjoying it, really cool. Highly recommended if you can pick one. I really recommend it because the game selection, even if you don't hack it, this game selection's good.
But the internet's a thing.
But then when you hack it, it's like, oh, this is freaking fantastic. So buy it and hack it. Don't I know, hey, no, Nintendo doesn't like that. So don't hack it, buy it, and then Google it. There you go. So yeah, real easy. But yeah, Joe, that's what I didn't know. Joe, I know that we have a ton of stuff that you want to talk about Comic-Con, but we cannot move forward without addressing the clown in the room, the Joker standalone movie. In our comment section, DC, what are you doing? Joaquin Phoenix, Joel, what do you think of that choice for the Joker standalone movie?
I think it's a great choice of an actor. That's the first thing I want to say. Like, gosh, Joaquin Phoenix, like this, I know people are crapping on this, but I'm like, this dude might be one of the best Jokers we've ever had.
This is definitely a massive, massive upgrade over Jared Leto.
Oh, huge.
Yeah.
But with that being said, Obed, it's important for us to understand that this pick of Joaquin Phoenix, as it stands today, as the movie's been described, as what we've read, what's been reported, it's a standalone movie, and it has nothing to do with the current DCEU, that whole universe. So this movie is not saying that now this guy's going to come in and replace Jared Leto in future movies or something. This is just a one movie to tell us the origin of the Joker, and that's it.
Yeah, we don't need it. We don't want it, but here you go.
Exactly. So it's interesting. Because of the actor, I think it's a solid choice. But like you said, Obed, perfectly, we don't need this movie. There's other movies that we actually do need. We need them to address. And we'll get into that as we talk about SDCC. But to talk about, with what they are giving us with this, I think that the problem is the connection to the universe that they are trying to create. People laughed at, Marvel when they would bring in, they bring in someone like Spider-Man, right? Because of all the different iterations of Spider-Man and how soon and what have you. But at least when they finally, brought him into Civil War, they did it in a way that, okay, this new person is being brought right into this universe. Well, DC doesn't have that problem. They own all their characters. So if you're going to make a decision like this, why are you separating him intentionally? This causes me to think that, hey, Obed, I'm going to say the famous phrase that I always say on the show, where there's smoke, there's fire. And that means they're not very confident in what they're doing with the Joker, and that they're willing to go a new way. And we'll get into more of that a little later is my thoughts. But that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, I mean, actor choice again. It's great. So we're getting a Puerto Rican to be the Joker. That's fine by me. I don't, it's
well. What was the guy that did it with the Adam West?
Cesar Romero.
Romero, yes.
Cesar Romero was Cuban.
Okay. Yep. I was saying another Latino. So
yeah. Cesar Romero was a good Joker, man.
Yeah.
That guy the guy. He refused to shave his mustache. I don't know if you knew that.
I did.
Yeah,
you can see it.
Yeah, you can see it. You can see it. So it's really obvious. But he had this Vegas Playboy mustache that he refused to shave. But Caesar was really funny as the Joker. I think it.
He's good.
You have to look. Yeah, he was good because you need to look at it in context, right? People today watch the '60s Batman. I was like, oh, this is like really campy and so cheesy and so dumb. But you have to, when you look at it in context, right? That's when Batman comics were campy and cheesy, and you had the rainbow Batman with the different color suits, and
it was not until Frank Miller that they really became legitimately dark.
Exactly. So it's a product of its time, and a comic accurate. I've
actually enjoyed those when I watched them.
They were fun. I remember watching those when I was a kid. And thinking that they were brand new, and my dad was like, "Oh no, I watched that when I was a kid." I was like, "Holy crap, this is really old." Yeah. So, but yeah, I mean, it's a product of its time. But then going back to what they are trying to do with this movie, which I really don't know what they're trying to do. because I'm fine with an origin story, right? But the Joker is one of those characters that it's his origin story always evolves and changes. It's like the best representation is in The Dark Knight, right? When Heath Ledger was playing the Joker, and every time he told his story, it was a different story because there was no story. There's no origin
I love
story.
that.
It's fantastic. Yeah. So I'm wondering if they're going to do like the Red Hood thing. Like he was like a comedian, and he
I'm
was like
pretty sure.
out of
Yeah.
luck, down on his luck, and he had a family, and then he started doing like the side jobs for the mob, and something happened with Batman one day, and he fell into some chemical waste. Yeah. I mean, that's probably what they're going to do, which would be super predictable. I mean, if there's some really good like character development and drama in there, it may be good. Again, Phoenix is a great actor, but one thing that I noticed on Joaquin Phoenix's movies is that he is as good as his supporting cast. Right, he was great in Gladiator. He was great in Her, because of the supporting cast. So as long as they have a strong supporting cast, I think the movie is going to come out great, because he'll definitely breathe life into the character.
I also want to point out that people may forget or may not be aware of, Joaquin Phoenix was originally going to be Doctor Strange. Marvel had him basically locked into greed. He backed out of the role, reportedly because he did not want to be signed to a multi-film deal. He only wanted to do a one thing, because that's more of the kind of style of acting he prefers to do.
Mm-hmm.
Interestingly, maybe that's what was going on with Warner's in DC. Maybe they were saying, hey, we want you to be the Joker. And maybe he's like, I will only do one. And they were like, well, it's Joaquin Phoenix. We'll give it to him and we'll make this movie because it's a good opportunity. I think he could be one of the best Jokers. And I think it might leaving people craving more, but I don't know how much Joker we'll get. It's going to be a lot of pre-Joker, really. So I don't know what to expect.
Yeah, this again could go both ways. It could be great. It could be, again, mediocre. I guess we'll find out what DC's plans are next week, right, Joel?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, Joel's gonna be live on the floor, reporting live.
That's right. Look out!
No fake news from Joel.
No fake news from Joel Young, guys. This is a great moment for me to plug it to you. I will be at Comic-Con for all 4 days. So as I'm there, make sure you're following us on our social media, because especially on Facebook, Instagram, I might try and do it on Instagram too. Do a Facebook Lives for us, just to kind of, give you guys a little bit of a quick update of what I'm seeing, what's going on. So make sure to become a fan of us on our social media and give us a follow, so you can see some of my coverage live from California, live in San Diego at the con, which, Obed, I'm so psyched about, just because, when I was going through the fan verification process and the whole thing, just to actually get a chance to buy the tickets, not even confirm that you would get them, Obed, they literally told us there was a 10% chance that you would even get tickets out of all the people that were there. So I feel very special right now.
Yeah, man. I bet you're pumped.
Oh, psyched.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. But yeah, I can't wait to see what you see over there, and all the pictures and all that stuff. And Joel's gonna be plugging us over there. He's gonna be hustling.
That's right. That's right. And if any of you guys are out there that actually are going to Comic-Con and listen to us, if you guys see me walking the floor, don't be afraid to say hi. I'm a friendly person, but yeah, I'm excited to be out there. You'll see me walking around the floor.
Yeah, Joel's a nice guy. He won't slap you across the face or anything. You'll be all right. You won't. Not today, right, Joel? Not today.
Just don't start like freight running towards me or something.
Yeah, exactly. Don't tackle him.
Just nicely approach.
Yeah, exactly. You don't tackle Joel. But excellent, man. Any predictions, Joel, that you have for Comic-Con? Do you think we're gonna start seeing Disney stuff with cross-pollinating with 20th Century Fox, which actually, Joel, one thing that happened during the holiday week is that Fox removed X-Men Dark Phoenix from their upcoming lineup, Like I don't know if that has been updated, but during the holiday week, I think it was like either July 5th
Yep.
or 3rd or 5th. It was like right around July 4th that they removed the movie from the upcoming releases. So what do you think about that, Dan?
Yeah, let's dive into this, man. There's a lot going on there with Fox and Disney. You know, yes, the deal is technically a done deal. The government recognizes that. There is some complications that's trying to hold the deal from being fully, like, you know, handed completely over to Disney, trying to stall it. So I don't know if you heard about this, Obed, but one of the
Yeah.
shareholders actually decided to enter into a lawsuit, and one of the Fox shareholders, I should say, 20th Century Fox shareholders, entered into a lawsuit to try and delay the deal from continuing on, just because it has been legally agreed to. So now they're just going through the logistics, which is what I had predicted on the show. Obed, in conversation, we've talked about this. I said we would not see the deal completely in its entirety be in effect until the end of this year, early next year, and I think that's still the case. I don't think this lawsuit's going to slow down much, but because of that, Obed, I do not expect us to see any type of real like parody going on at Comic-Con with Disney and Fox, because I think Disney's going to still keep 20th Century Fox as its own entity. They're just going to be the ones owning it and running it. And I think at Comic-Con, they're going to want to show that it works on its own and that they're not trying to just be a monopoly, even though they're now the godfather of this, right? And there's going to be effects to it where obviously X-Men and those kinds of things are going to be joining, you know, Marvel's, you know, Disney's Marvel property, right? But I think the thing, like you told me, Obed, about them taking the X-Men Dark Phoenix movie off of that list. I don't know the full update on that yet either, but last I saw that it wasn't on there. I believe that's indicative of what I told you, Obed. Disney would not be the kind of people to inherit something. They would want to recreate it or, you know, reinvent it the way the Disney brand does things. So the only thing I could see not being reinvented is like Deadpool, just because of the success of it, right?
Yeah, I think that could probably still exist as a standalone thing.
And they've kept it very separate too, like those movies from what's gone on with the X-Men movies, even though they acknowledge he's in the X-Men and whatnot, it's been very separate. So I think that those movies can live on their own. But I think the X-Men stuff, that's why the Dark Phoenix and, you know, even the New Mutants, man, I'm not confident that those movies are going to even come out entirely.
So New Mutants is still on schedule.
Okay.
But not Dark Phoenix.
And that's something, because remember, they had to reshoot almost half of the movie. That's
of New Mutants, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm really not sure what to expect there, but I think that they themselves, Fox, is taking it very slow, just because they don't even know what's going to happen once Disney gets their entire hands on this and wields that Infinity Gauntlet.
I think what it is that New Mutants is it's scheduled for October of this year, right? Because it got delayed from April.
Yes,
October or something like that.
Yeah.
I think what it is that it's released. I think it comes out before the fiscal year. It's scheduled to come out before the fiscal year, and so they're just gonna keep it on track. Dark Phoenix, on the other hand, it got delayed from November, if I'm not wrong, to February, 4 months. Then I went back and started doing a little bit of research, and I heard that shooting was not optimal. There were some on-set issues. Then someone is speculating that they've already sent the go-ahead for reshoots from Disney to add the scrolls to the movie and make it connect to Captain Marvel. So that's another possibility. But I mean, at this point, this is all speculation. We really don't know what's going on with the movie. I don't think the movie's canceled, because I don't think Disney would have the balls to cancel a movie with Jennifer Lawrence and you know, and James McAvoy and Fassbender. I mean, so I don't think they'll risk it. But reshoots, sure, I can see that.
Yeah, dude, it's gonna be a wait and see, because I'm I'm just not confident this thing's going to be connected. I'm really not. And remember, even when it came to them trying to connect with Spider-Man, I don't know if you remember this, Obed, in 2012, they tried to connect to do some kind of deal apparently at that time to have, before 2012 really, because that's when the movie came out. But the Avengers, the first Avengers movie, they tried to have some parody with the Amazing Spider-Man movies for coming out with Sony, and that just didn't work out. I can't help but feel that there's going to be some type of soft reboot-ish kind of thing going on with X-Men. Whether that means that even some of our most beloved characters are just going to be completely not acknowledged with Marvel and Disney in the newer time frame, right? Because these X-Men movies take place in the past, most of them, and where the new Marvel stuff takes place, in year current, to each time. I would not surprise me if there's going to be some more obscure X-Men characters, still popular because there's so many of them, but ones that just aren't shown really much in the movies. Obed, though, you gotta have Wolverine, right? I mean, that's the guy.
I don't think that's gonna happen for now. I think, unfortunately, Hugh Jackman's getting up there, in age. It's getting harder and harder for him to keep up. He's getting older, and it's just, he's still probably willing to keep up, but it's going to become harder. So I think that eventually we'll see someone else take on Wolverine. Unfortunately, because that's at this point, he's been playing the character for 15 years. So and we all like the guy, but it's one of those inevitabilities, right? It's something that's bound to happen sooner or later. But what's interesting is that they are setting the rumor that I heard with tying it to Captain Marvel really makes sense, because both movies are set in the 90s. Dark Phoenix is set in the 90s. Captain Marvel set in the 90s. Maybe making those movies intertwine somehow to bring them over to the MCU. That's a good possibility, but again, it's one of those wait and see. Like you said, there's not enough information out there. Like, you can look for information, and it's really hard to find anything.
Yeah, I think it's just because there hasn't been any definite decisions. I think there's a lot of conversations going on right now.
Yeah. But other than X-Men, man, any other predictions that you have for Fox?
Yeah, I actually think that Fox, they're Predator. They're going to bring the Predator. They've already confirmed that. I can't help but feel like they may even try and create some more, some other character movies that will be revealed, that they've been working on. There's a few of them that have been rumored. I know that I'm trying to remember if this is Fox or not. The Godzilla movie, the King Kong movies. Which studio is that with?
Godzilla's Warner. It's Legendary. If I'm not wrong.
Legendary. Yeah. So I know that's been confirmed. I'm trying to recall. There's a few.
I'm gonna double check on the fly right now.
Look at this! How awesome is that? Right? Just pull it right out of your collection.
It's Warner.
It's Warner. Okay, that's what I was trying to remember, because I do know that was confirmed to be at Comic-Con. That's confirmed for Warner. Yeah, Fox is going to find themselves in an interesting place, just because typically they've just put most of their X-Men or Marvel properties at the forefront, and literally the only one that they could maybe walk out with is New Mutants, and like everything else they just can't talk about because they just don't know. But Predator is going to be front center. It might be I don't expect any huge surprises from them. Don't expect Channing Tatum to come out for the third time now or something. Don't expect any of that this year, just because I don't see it happening. I'm not expecting surprises, but I'll be there. So, but if something happens,
we'll definitely hear from you on that. But just moving along, Joel, if you don't have anything else for Fox, what do you think of Warner DC? Shazam for sure. We'll see something.
Okay, so what reports are saying are confirmed is Shazam trailer, Aquaman trailer, Gal Gadot will walk out on stage and bring with her footage, not a trailer, but a footage for her new Wonder Woman movie. And then outside of that, there was speculation
The Snyder Cut.
There's speculation that, hey, Matt Reeves and Ben Affleck are going to come out and they're going to clear everything up just because Ben Affleck is still down to play Batman, according to some people. I don't know what to believe because it's been said for a while that he was not in. Then there's some people saying he is in. I mean, remember I think it was last year with Justice League, I think he was the one who actually came out and said, like, oh, like he basically put it to rest, said like, oh, I'm so excited for Matt Reeves directing, our solo Batman, acknowledging the movie. Yep. And he literally said, I would crawl on all fours like an ape for this guy because he's the director of the Planet of the Apes movie, The War for the Planet of the Apes, and, the last couple of Planet of the Apes that were fantastic movies, phenomenal. So he was basically saying, I would, like, Ben Affleck's like, I would crawl on all fours like an ape for this guy. So people were like, oh my gosh, he's so totally in. And then we also Justice League performed, and I don't think he's happy with that because he's a very well-established actor and director, so he understands what goes on behind the scenes. So I'm just confused. I'm confused as to what's going to happen there. But there is reports that, hey, Ben Affleck and Matt Reeves are going to come out on stage, but they have nothing to bring, Obed. Like, they would just be, it would be fan service, almost political in a sense of saying, hi guys, we're good and we're kissing up and we're friends, because there's not like they've shot anything with this movie. So why are you just going to come out there and just answer questions and talk about how excited you are for something that just has no kind of stuff? I think I just don't see it happening, but that's a rumor going around. Shazam, Obed, there's a photo that came up from Entertainment Weekly. This is obviously that pre, SDCC kind of hype that comes out. And that photo that came out of Shazam with the kid having his soda.
It was like coming out of a 7-Eleven or something like that, right?
Yeah. I am not a fan of that photo.
Yeah, I don't think this movie's gonna be good. So
me either.
Yeah, I mean,
but Obed, if you look at people on Twitter, like, I'm not saying everyone, but a lot of stuff that I was reading, people were like, this looks hilarious, this looks funny, I love it. So I think people are gonna definitely go out and see this movie. I just don't think it's going to be that good.
Yeah, out of curiosity, a lot of people will go.
Yeah.
Because it's going to be like the lighthearted DC movie, and a lot of people are going to be curious to see what their take is on, what a lighthearted character would be.
Unless, of course, Obed, the trailer drops at Comic-Con, and then we get a short glimpse at Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, and, like, is in the movie. Oh, you put him in the movie, and suddenly people just start.
And people are going to be interested, for sure. Joe, did you hear about the Zack Snyder cut again? What came out the last couple of days?
Yes, a lot of people are trying to say that they're going to announce that, hey, the Zack Snyder cuts. They fired the man. People, they cut the man.
I don't know if you actually heard this, but Zack Snyder said somewhere that he actually has his footage back, and he started teasing out stuff and posting pictures. So he, apparently, like, people are saying that he took his, he has his footage and he's just gonna mix it together with whatever was done from the movie, and he's doing his own thing. He's just gonna release it by himself, like an indie type of thing.
They would never allow that now.
All right, you can just post it on the internet, and
there's rights. There's so much rights and licensing and stuff going on there. It's like the Last Jedi remake. Like, this is why Ryan Johnson is literally joking. Like, please make the movie. Yeah. Try and somehow you're gonna convince Disney, Lucasfilm, the actors, all these people to do this stuff. Please try. Like, it's like it's not gonna happen.
Do you see that parody, that poster?
Oh, that poster was hilarious.
Awesome. Luke with like abs and a Magnum.
Snoke with the projector. works.
Yeah, yeah. Oh my god! And Leia back in the
Right, as an older
costume.
lady in the car. It's like
It was
such a great
awesome.
joke. Such a
It
great
was,
joke.
yeah, I love the Snoke actually explaining what's going on
That
with a
would be that's
with a
what the internet
slideshow.
wanted. Yeah, it's the joke.
It's ridiculous.
The joke.
Man, babies. Anyhow, uh, anything else that you have from Warner, Joe? Anything new? Godzilla, like we mentioned, I think that they're going to show footage for a new Godzilla and maybe tease at, that Godzilla King Kong crossover that it's speculated to be in the works.
Yeah, I think the crossover thing is going to be a huge tease, and I think that there's going to be a really major announcement for that universe that they've been building. Because honestly, the last King Kong movie, the Skull Island movie, I thought it was fine. I don't think it's a bad movie. I do admittedly actually like the Peter Jackson one. I like it, actually do.
It's also a remake of the original King
Of the
Kong
original
versus
King Kong.
something new. Yeah.
Right. So I do like that one, maybe a little more than the Skull Island movie that was made recently, but I still think the movie's fine. So I think they've got a good base for that Kong versus Godzilla. And I think they need to address how that's even possible. I think it's a good opportunity on the platform to talk about, because I've read this, but I don't know how much people are aware. Like, how would Godzilla and King Kong fight each other? Like, Godzilla, if you watch the movie, it's like this massive size thing, and then you got King Kong hanging on the top of the Empire State Building, big but not that big.
Yeah.
There's understanding.
The thing is that it's based out of the King Kong from Skull Island, which is supposed to be way bigger than the King Kong from the movie, from the meaning Peter Jackson movie, which is a big gorilla. This is like an actual gigantic gorilla.
But even in that, Obed, like, I think the point of it that people have said that there's like this supposed idea of figuring out a way, like where the science experiment, something that this guy's exposed to, like Rampage or something, where Godzilla is going to actually shrink in size to the same size as King Kong, and that's how they're going to be able to fight each other. And I could see that easily being the case, where they're like, oh well, guess what? We tried to weaken Godzilla, and we can't weaken this guy.
They have to find a way to.
Kong's gonna be the one that they send in to take this thing out. So I don't know.
Well, my thing is that they're gonna start fighting, and then another bigger, badder monster is gonna come along, and they're gonna team up against that monster. So I think that's what's gonna happen. I mean, there's already a King Kong versus Godzilla movie from the 70s. That was a crossover between Toho and Universal back then, when Universal had the rights to King Kong before it actually became, free, a free for all or public domain. That's the word I'm looking for. So, yeah, I mean, if you go back and watch that movie, it's super cheesy. I haven't watched that movie since I was a kid, and all I remember is that it ended with like King Kong coming out of the water, but Godzilla he lives in the water, so it was basically a tie at the end of the movie. And those 70s, early 80s Godzilla movies are so campy and cheesy. They're not to be taken serious. So it's one of those. But it's gonna be interesting if they actually come out and even tease some of this movie or some of the work that they're putting behind it, because I'm still very interested. I still haven't watched Skull Island, but I really like the Godzilla that the Legendary did. So
yeah, it was good.
Yeah, I'm hoping to see a second one come out, and hopefully the King Kong crossover comes out pretty good. Anything else, Joel? Anything else? Do you think Disney themselves are gonna come on and show something? Wreck-It Ralph, Lion King, maybe, or are they saving that to D23?
They're saving it for D23 because there's been when they announced that Marvel wasn't going to be this year having their own Hall H panel. That's when they also exposed they're also not going to have a Star Wars panel, a Lucasfilm panel, or any of those properties. So I figured that they're gonna be present, just not in this process of showcasing anything, just having a Disney presence there, but not actually like trying to promote anything too much like they normally would with an actual panel. The only thing that I recognize that could be an opportunity for Star Wars fans to get excited that there could be a little bit of something there because there's going to be a 10-year anniversary, if I'm not mistaken, for Star Wars The Clone Wars. They're going to have a panel for that. And they're going to probably bring out, the voice actors. And they did confirm Dave Filoni's going to be there. Now, but if you bring out Dave Filoni, he's not going to just sit there like a papa and just say, well, it was great, those movies and and this. Dave Filoni's going to be there. I would highly suspect that he would say, well, you guys like Star Wars Rebels. You guys like this. This is a thing I've been working on. And I think he could actually tease the new latest Disney XD show that he's been creating. And I think I could see that easily happening. So if Dave Filoni is going to be there, and I think that could be the big Disney Star Wars kind of presence that most people would not suspect, just thinking that they're just honoring 10 years of DC. But there's also 10 years of Star Wars. Sorry, and then there's another 10-year panel is going to go on there. 10 years of Marvel. So instead of having their big Hall H thing, they're going to have a panel where they go through their top favorite moments from the last 10 years of the different Marvel films. I would not be surprised if from there, Obed, we get a look at, concept art for, Avengers 4, or something like nothing of like a title or anything like that, but just like, I don't know, art of Captain Marvel and Iron Man flying side by side or something like that to tease. Nothing too crazy, but enough to kind of get people go, oh, cool, I didn't suspect that. I think there's going to be a subtle presence and things that are going to get people excited enough. But I really believe the reason that Disney and Marvel is not there has to do with a little bit of the Fox stuff that's going on. And I think it has to do with, but this just confirms that whatever they have planned with Avengers 4, whatever that title is going to be, whatever that movie is fully going to be, it's huge. It's got to be so big, so earth-shattering that it's a spoiler and stuff that we can't even like try and tease and talk about it. So they're really holding out on that because if they wanted to, they probably could just bring the house down like they normally do at Hall H. So there's a reason that Disney's doing this. Kevin Feige would not be pushing this for no reason because Comic-Con is the biggest stage for all things comic book related.
Yeah, it would make sense. Do you think they're gonna do something like DC will release a trailer for something, and then a few hours later they like what happened last time with Justice League? The Justice League, that trailer came out and everyone got really hyped, and then like 5 hours later, Thor Ragnarok released a trailer. I was like, oh my god, it's crazy.
I think it's gotten to the place, Obed, where Marvel doesn't even have to put a trailer out. They could just make an announcement. Yeah. And it would be more earth-shattering than even, like, it could literally be something as simple as, like, a movie that none of us suspected. Like how when Civil War was announced, I did not see that coming. I was like, there I was sitting on my computer and I see this announcement. I'm like, wait a second, Robert Downey Jr. is Captain America 3. That means Civil War. Like, I could literally see them pull out a bazooka just through the media and then be like, we're not even going to give you anything more than that and just destroy the internet.
Yeah, and I don't know if you saw, Joel, right before I came in to start recording, they announced the 4K Blu-ray versions of the first two Avengers.
Yes, I did see that. So, and I will be buying those.
Nice. I already own them on Blu-ray. I'm happy. I'm good. But once you get to the 4K Blu-rays and stuff, it's like once you get the player, it's over, man. It's one of those things. It's like once you see the difference, it's like it's
amazing.
Yeah. I mean, there's definitely a couple of rebuys that you will get here and there, but not replacing my entire Blu-ray collection because. Blu-ray still look and sound very, very good. So it's the nominal difference, right? It's HDR and color depth and all this stuff.
It's people like you and I, Obed, that pay attention to those.
Yeah, they make all this.
The average person, their eyes are just like, this looks nice.
Yeah, they make all this crap so we can just keep spending money on it. They know our weakness, Joe.
They know it tonight.
They have us. They have us in their grasp. And Joe, the only other thing that I have with Avengers, is that I don't know if you saw, there's a recent interview with Zoe Saldana, and she said she kind of like dropped that. It's like, oh yeah, so we finished Infinity War, and then I started working on this thing, but then I'm gonna start working on Guardians 3 right after we finish Infinity Gauntlet. She did she just drop the title?
No, she did not drop the title. I'm telling you, it's not. I do not believe it's Infinity Gauntlet. That would be to me, that would be kind of a letdown. Like, why are you holding back the title? And the title is just Infinity Gauntlet. Like, we all know what the Gauntlet is. We all saw the first movie. Yeah. I think she's just reading the comics too. So I'm surprised.
I think so. Yeah.
Most of Marvel actors do, but yeah, like that's funny. I think when I saw that she was saying like, yeah, we're gonna work on Guardians 3. She's like, I'm not dead. And I was like telling everyone, people were like so upset and all this stuff. And I'm like, guys,
I know.
Don't drink the Kool-Aid. They want you to get emotionally excited, but
do you not think they're not gonna make another Black Panther? Come on.
Exactly.
Yeah, come on.
No more Spider-Man. Just kill him off.
That's it. It's over. That's it. We're just gonna grab our toys and go home.
The only one who really is dead is Loki. Sorry. He's not coming back.
Yeah. I think he ate it.
Spoiler alert, guys. By the way.
Spoiler alert. You should know these things by now if you're listening. Joe, what about gaming wise? Do you think they were going to have any gaming surprises? Are we going to finally see that Avengers game from Square Enix?
Yeah, so there's a Marvel Games panel that I'm going to try and also get out to that, and they did say that they're going to showcase the Spider-Man game. We expected that. I think that game looks phenomenal. I've yet to get my hands on it. Maybe I'll get to demo it on the show floor. I don't know. But they did say there's going to be some surprises. And I'm like, okay, when you say surprises, like it could be as small as like, oh, this villain that was not confirmed before is going to be in the Spider-Man game, or there's going to be this DLC or something like that, right? But I think it's a little bit bigger than that because there wasn't really a huge outside of outside of the Spider-Man property being at E3, they didn't really have anything else there. And the one that you and I talked about often on the show was the Avengers game that's been in development for a bit now that we have seen nothing for and only have read reports on, hey, this is going to be, you can play Hulk and you can play as this character and whatever, but we haven't seen anything. So perfect opportunity. If you have an Avengers video game and you debut some stuff there at Comic-Con, perfect opportunity. Even bigger than that, you and I, Obed, speculated there's a huge chance this doesn't happen, but you and I also speculated that, hey, maybe Marvel versus Capcom is going to have a little something there. What do you think about that, Obed?
So there's been rumors for a couple weeks now that Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite is going to get, I don't want to say re-released, but it's gonna be a soft re-release basically, and they're going to re-unveil the game as Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite Uncanny Edition, and it will have basically almost double the playable characters. It would add the X-Men. It would add some Capcom favorites. It would have new features, a new story mode. So that's a very, very strong rumor that's been going around for a week or so. I am not 100% sold on it. I unfortunately, again, I think the game it's dead. But this would be the perfect, if we don't see anything about this game now, it's done, because the season 1 characters have been out for a while. We haven't heard anything about anything. There was a balance patch that came out not too long ago. They're actually patching the game, which means that they're still working on something, right? It's not completely abandoned. Every time someone asks someone from Capcom, hey, what's up with the game? Oh yeah, we're working on patching and whatnot. So there's people working on the game. But at the same time, if this were to happen, if this game were to get a soft relaunch or a soft reboot, they need to change the art style, and that is going to take some time. not necessarily time, but because they've had enough time, and you can just apply a shader, like apply a comic book effect shader, which there's PC mods that you can actually do that, and it looks way better. You can do that. You can just add a shader that makes the characters look like, comic characters. Like on Marvel Capcom 3, characters look like they're actually drawn on, a comic book panel. So if they can do that, and if they can add the missing characters, then the game's gonna come back. If not, unfortunately, it's dead. I know that there's a side tournament at Evo happening. That was announced, but it's not gonna be a main showcase at Evo. We'll see what kind of numbers that produces, because it's not looking too great. But at the same time, again, this is so unfortunate, Joel, because the game is a lot of fun, man. The game is
Yeah,
just
I have it. Yeah.
it's really easy to put it in and play, and you can just play the arcade mode, and it's fun, man. It has good characters from the Marvel side, but the Capcom side is really weak. So that was a big problem. So I mean, if they fix the character, selection, then potentially this game could come back. But it's one of those things that I'm 50-50 on it at the end of the day. So
Yeah, no, I understand. I think though Comic-Con's a good opportunity if you are gonna do it. I think people would literally cheer, like if there was like, hey, we're rebooting this thing and we're doing this.
Yeah,
thing.
that would really boost confidence on the definitely the player base, and definitely the fan base, because it is still a fan favorite franchise. So Marvel needs to realize it, and if they don't want to see their characters getting beat up, why put Infinity War out there? Come on.
Oh yeah, a little more than beat up.
Yeah, a little more than beat up, right? So seriously. But that's what I got from Marvel and that. But Joel, are we gonna see anything new from Rocksteady, which again was rumored to be at E3, but we didn't see anything from?
I do not think so. Last I checked, I didn't see anything with them having like a panel, which would be where you expect the reveal before they show up a show for. I could be wrong, so don't quote me on it, because I've only looked at the schedule, and guys, it's overwhelming. Like I'm getting overwhelmed looking at the schedule. I'm like, I don't have enough time to do all this stuff. Wish I could just like duplicate myself and just be in like 20 places at a time, literally. But I don't think there's I have to look again. If there is, yeah, we want that Superman video game. It's another perfect place to reveal this game, man. And if you're not going to do, something at E3 this year, and maybe next year you will, but this year you can at least, say this is a game that we're doing and show us a little tease about it. Again, concept art. You don't have to show us even gameplay. Just show us some kind of like art style or whatnot. Like, I would love to see that there, but I don't expect it, Obed. I really don't, but I would love it.
Yeah, the big thing is being that WB as a publisher, they don't have a big presence on E3. They need to rely on the console manufacturers to showcase their product. So I think this would be a good opportunity for them to come out and say, hey, we are working on this thing, and look how cool it is. And again, DC needs good faith out there with their product. So this would be a great opportunity. And I mean, we'll see how DC changes in the next couple of years with AT&T acquisition. So we'll see what changes they make.
Absolutely.
But this is the moment for them to come out with everything they got to keep that fan base hyped. So
yeah, and there's a whole section, Obed. I was talking to you about this, looking at the way the different floors are laid out. They have an entire section just dedicated to gaming, where, according to them, brand new unreleased games you'll be able to get your hands on, just like you would at E3. So I'm excited to get to that section, and they announce something like this, or even like we talked about Marvel games. I'm sure I'll get my hands on it.
Yeah, cool. That's what I got, Joel. I don't have anything else on my notes. I know that there's a lot of more stuff coming up on for Comic-Con, but again, guys, stay on the if you don't follow us on Facebook, just follow us on Facebook. Joe's gonna be doing some really neat stuff over there. But Joe, that's what I got. If you don't have anything else, man.
Oh gosh, guys, just if you see me on social media just losing my mind, I'm not losing my mind, I'm just losing my mind because Ubed, when I went to New York Comic Con, the people that were with me, they said that visibly I looked shook the moment I walked in because I just did not expect it to be that big, and this is bigger than New York Comic Con, so I just might be stuck, my face frozen for a second. But it's like a dream come true, guys. I'm so excited to get back to you guys. I know keep following us on social media, not just because of what I'm going to be doing, but I'm sure there's also some stuff that Obed might be putting out or what have you. So just stay connected there. Follow us at No Load Time. That's at No Load Time on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Twitch. Also, we want to let you guys know to subscribe to our show as you're listening to us probably on iTunes, Google Play, or SoundCloud. Make sure you're a subscriber so you always get notified of our latest episodes. And in addition to your subscription, if you're an iTunes subscriber, we're asking you to drop us a review. It helps us out greatly. Also, we want to let you know if you can stay in contact with us, and that would be via email to noloadtime@gmail.com. That's noloadtime@gmail.com, where you could shoot us any questions, comments, feedback. I even if there's something in regards to Comic-Con, hey Joel, keep an eye out for this, or what's your thoughts on that? Shoot us emails. We always love to hear from you guys, and there's even a chance that we'll address it here on the show. Thank you so much, and I look forward to our next episode of No Load Time.
Thank you guys, and we'll see you again on the next episode.